68, the song Mony Mony. When Tommy James was only 12 years old, though, he already had his own rock and roll band, the Shondells, and he recorded his first song, Hanky Panky. 4 years later, that song would become a hit and lead to a successful musical career for Tommy James, along with such other hits as Crimson and Clover and Crystal Blue Persuasion. On January 26th, he'll be appearing at the Ritz in New York City. Welcome to Midday Edition.
Thank you very much.
Going back to that very first song, 4 years after you recorded it, you were only 16 years old and you discovered it was a hit. How did you find out? What went through your mind when you heard?
Well, actually, I recorded the song in 1961, and I was 13, so it made a big difference from 12 to 13. And
one grows up a lot between 12 and 13.
And I went into a recording studio in my hometown of Niles, Michigan, as a favor to a local DJ there, and made this record, Hanky Panky, and it just died of natural causes because we had no distribution. And I graduated from high school in 1965, and in December of that year I got a call from Pittsburgh, from a local promoter. And this fella, I almost hung up on him because I thought somebody was pulling a joke on me. He said, "Your record's #1 here, and we'd like you to come and do some television, do some interviews."
You had long forgotten about the record ever becoming a hit.
So I said, "Of course, I'll be there. You know, show me, what time should I be there?" And he told me, and I got there, and sure enough, the record was #1. Somebody had bootlegged 80,000 records, and the amazing part is that the record had been played as an oldie in Pittsburgh
by a DJ.
By a DJ, and nobody had ever heard the record before, and. Of course, it was a real Cinderella story. The switchboard lit up, and what's that artist who, what's the name of the record? Would you play it again? So somebody bootlegged 80,000 records, sold them in 10 days, and we were #1. And I went there, and it just blew me away.
That's an incredible story. How do you say thank you to a DJ who may have, in some way, been responsible for your career really taking off?
You give him lots of money and an exclusive on just about anything you ever put out. It was an incredible thing because it was so unexpected, and we took the master brought the master to New York and sold it to Roulette Records, and 23 gold records later.
There was a lot that happened in your career. It happened fast. 1970 was the year when the Shondells broke up.
Right.
It was also a very rough year in your life. I read at one point you had collapsed on stage. A doctor had even pronounced you dead.
Well, okay, yeah, that's exactly right. That's what happened. I think that the first 5 years of my career were very intense, and as a matter of fact, if I wasn't on the road, I was in the studio. If I was in the studio, I was writing, and I think the group and I just at one point said, we can't go on like this, and so we all kind of took a year off. But that year was probably the worst year I could have taken off because, I went up to my farm in upstate New York and just kind of hung out there and stared at walls for about 6 months. But I came back afterwards, but the group was never to be assembled again.
Did you feel like you had burned yourself out because so much happened so fast?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. And it was at that point where I learned how to kind of get things back into perspective and carry on without going crazy.
Having been so close to death, did you decide, hey, I'm going to live my life differently? This is what I'm going to do now. I'm not going to do what I did in the past.
Absolutely, and the good Lord has blessed me with a long career and a very fruitful life. As a matter of fact, when I came back, I went on the road for a long period of time during the 1970s, during the period of time when the record business kind of collapsed on itself. And in 1980, I went back and I had another gold record, and with a song called 3 Times in Love.
And you will be at the Ritz on January 26th here in New York City. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And now back to you, Marvin.